So we're back with yet another, yes, another from the Pentrich gang. Although we're going to give the big Imperial IPAs a bit of a rest and focus on something a little more traditional. As spring is in the air, or at least it was, today we have a little White Blossom. A 5.5% Belgian style wheat beer. And it was in fact those Belgian wheat beers that really did ignite my initial love for beer. I guess I can count myself quite fortunate that my coming of age happened to coincide with beers like Erdinger and Hoegaarden becoming widely and easily available in both bars and supermarkets. You can even add Blue Moon to that list too. So as I started drinking legally, it was these beers that I started to gravitate towards. Then of course I would discover the world of craft beer, and as they say, the rest is history. But I must admit, I have been meaning to revisit some of those old classics, or in fact just wheat beers in general. But those big juicy IPAs are just a little too difficult to turn down on a night out. This hazy beer has spritzy flavours of mandarin and light floral and bubblegum aromas, with a smooth, crisp finish. And like I say, it's been a long while since I really dove into a good Belgian wheat beer, so I'm quite excited to rediscover the old style. So let's get pouring. Now it is quite juicy on the nose, and that head, it is quite tame for a Belgian style. But you are also picking up a subtle note of that sweet banana, and there is a little bit of spice in there, and there are some real bright citrus notes punching away in there too. So it's got a real citrus and peppery kick right up top. Lots of bitter lemon notes really dominating the flavours before developing into a really smooth, wheaty middle, and then fading off with a grassy citrus bitterness. And there is a real heavy malty note in those middles too. It's a little rich, it's got a little grassy and a little hay and straw notes to it. And there is just a subtle note of that juicy bubblegum they mentioned. And as those citrus notes get more involved, that bitterness is turning up a ratchet too. It really is becoming super bitter. And those grassy and straw notes are really lingering long in the mouth. If anything, it's more resembling a classic West Coast than a classic Belgian wit. You definitely won't need no slice of lemon in this one. And now we're down into the beer some. It is still those rich malty notes, those grassy and straw notes, and that big citrus burst that are really defining this brew. It's got a real lemon and lime vibe to it, and it carries on through into the tail where it ends with a real heavy bitterness. And those straw and hay notes really do linger long in the mouth. I would definitely liken it to more of a wheaty West Coast than a proper Belgian wit, as I was definitely hoping for some of that clove and a little of that banana to start filling out those middles, but those notes never do come. And if you happen to be stalking me on the old Insta, you might have seen us doing a little crawl around the Kentish Town area last night. So the bitterness in this is really starting to perk me up some.